what would you look for in a training to make it more or less valuable? Put it this way, in terms of the benefit
Okay.
it gives. Yes.
hmm Yeah. Well, I would definitely look for a training that has some sort of a follow-up, not just a one and done. So, if there's a training session and then there's a couple of weeks later a check-in or something like that. I personally, since I know about training and I know what helps and what helps make training stick. Now, would your average corporate leader think that way? I'm not sure, but for me, I would absolutely look for, are there tools provided in this training? Are they going to provide something that I can take away? Whether it's a couple of different really good tactics that I can use, they give me examples of what I can use in my day-to-day work, whether it's some sort of a workbook that I can write things down in and bring it back with me, or whether maybe it's an accountability partner that I get assigned afterwards, but some sort of, some way to make it stick and some way to follow up to ensure that it's actually sticking. I think for me, that would be the most valuable, because otherwise it's just, people go to training and then, like we said, they forget.
Right. I want to share something with you because it also happens to be in another tab, but is completely relevant. Here's the thing I fire off to even just my English clients, that these are online lessons or through
hmm
a phone app. I tell them, to be able to do what you want to do and be successful at it, it must be frequent. Once a week is not enough when you're talking about language change, but it's
Yeah.
frequent, challenging, engaging, applicable, meaningful, relevant, repetition with immediate expert feedback or objective feedback. So this is essentially deliberate practice as defined
hmm
by K. Anders Ericsson. And it's like all these things as a mashup of my own experience teaching, including C-suite executives and 2-year-old kids, that if these things aren't there, it probably isn't going to work. And anything that goes against it is like Hebb's law, neurons that fire together, wire together. It isn't neurons that fire together once a week or month wire together, because
hmm
that isn't the way it works. That's not the way your brain works. So anyway,
Right.
that was just sort of relevant. I thought I
No, and
want to
I
share it.
I can tell you that firsthand because as an adult, it's harder to learn new things as an adult, of course. And I watch my kids and I see what they can pick up really quickly. But for me, obviously, it can be a little like a new skill or a new language. And I've been trying to learn the guitar for quite some time now, but my days are so busy that I don't get to practice every day. And I find that if a couple of days go by and I haven't practiced, like how do I do that chord again?
Mhm.
I have to look it up. I have to actually look it up because it's not embedded in my brain. If I find the time to just get even 10 minutes each day, it gets more cemented. So I absolutely agree.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I tell people about language is like, in your native language, how often do you practice? And I get one of two answers. I either get every day or never. And it's like,
hmm
really? You're not actually speaking, listening, and producing language? Well, I do that every day. It's like, that's practice.
hmm
So it's very interesting. And another thing I think is true too, which I see, one of the great things about teaching young kids is they don't have our baggage. By and
Right.
large, adults are much better and more experienced learners, but they don't care about what other people think yet. They aren't being tough on
hmm
themselves. So mostly for adults, I think it's mindset and baggage, and we all have it, regardless of
hmm
what it is. That is our main handicap, not our ability, but
Right.
all the stuff with gums that comes from being a more experienced human being. Next
Makes
one.
sense.